SnowTrax is brought to you by Polaris. Think outside. Ski-Doo. Winter lovers, get out there and experience that Ski-Doo feeling. Arctic Cat. Share our passion. Royal Distributing. Canada's power sport leader. And by Climb. Technical riding gear.
When I first received the call to go behind the scenes of Ski-Doo in Valcourt, Quebec, I jumped at the opportunity. But when I found out that it was more than just a plant tour and a museum walkthrough, that I would actually get to go behind the scenes of not just the race shop and the design center, but also the inner sanctum R&D, well, that's something that few people are privy to. Upon my arrival at Ski-Doo headquarters, I was not able to just get behind the scenes of the factory and not just see Ski-Doos being built on the line, but be able to stop and see how every nut and bolt, every sticker, every assembly, and even the Rotax engines, how they arrive straight from Austria and are fit into the assembly line. And let me tell you, this was something that I won't soon forget. One thing you need to understand about Ski-Doo, and at a higher level BRP as a whole, is the level of technological advancement that they possess, not just in the way that they design, but possibly even more importantly, and especially for you, the consumer, is the way they build. The Ski-Doo factory in Valcourt may seem like it's a ways out in the sticks of Quebec, but this factory is anything but small or dated. Absolute first-class, top-tier cutting-edge technology is everywhere in this place. And isn't that what you want to know, that your Ski-Doo snowmobile that you're paying a hard-earned dollar for was built on a top-end, world-class production line where precision and efficiency are at the top of the list? I know for me it would be. Now, we didn't just walk the line and take photos and video of the robots that weld. No, we were even allowed to go into the depths of the supply line that feeds the factory floor and understand just how each part of a Ski-Doo snowmobile is hand-picked, scanned, then loaded onto a cart with individual cubby spaces that are barcoded for precision, so at every step of the process, parts are checked and then rechecked. Once loaded onto these carts, they're delivered to the proper part of the factory floor by unmanned trolleys that move through the factory like something out of a futuristic movie. Once these carts arrive at the proper places, everything is again scanned onto the sled. So sure, that's cool and precise and seems better than a big box of parts just sitting next to someone on a production line. But get this, at every station where there are nuts and bolts, washers, or even stickers, each individual part, like right down to the nut, bolt, washer, and everything, has to be hand-picked onto a picking tray, and a button for each one must be touched to show that the specific bolt or washer was taken to ensure that nothing gets left behind. If anything is missed, the assembly line staff are made aware on monitors everywhere that something was missed. Overhead, you have thousands of tools, all set to specific torque specs, and these tools speak to the production line computers and verify proper torque spec is achieved on all parts, and even keep that data so you can check right down to the specific vehicle being assembled what the torque spec was on every single nut and bolt, and that it was done properly. Honestly, I was absolutely blown away with just how precise everything here is done. And yes, absolutely, when walking the line, I was massively distracted by trays of turbo assemblies, totes of finished exhausts, and carts full of clutches. This is like a big kid's Lego factory. And speaking of exhausts and even gas tanks, the factory builds all these parts in-house. But then more importantly, pressure tests the exhaust and the gas tank in water to ensure that they don't have any leaks. On top of that, I was quite impressed by a particular automatic tool that assembles the gear on the end of the drive shaft, allowing for the quick change axles Ski-Doo G5 chassis are known for. This tool looked pretty unique, and upon asking, I found out the factory has a team who are dedicated to just making these kinds of tools in-house to do the jobs that are so precise they need perfection every time. From the robots that pick up the tunnels, to the welders who build your Ski-Doo exhaust, to the steady-handed graphic applicators on the line, precision and technology are abundant at Ski-Doo. Now, it wouldn't be right to not see where a Ski-Doo snowmobile breathes its first breath, and every sled on the line will eventually make it to the startup room. Gas pumps, sealed rooms, and specialty starting assemblies to roll over the clutches, every sled gets run on a specific program when fired up. While the technician is able to hold the throttle wide open, it's not actually full throttle, as only a certain program runs on the sled's computer, allowing it to verify ignition and proper function of the engine that's traveled all the way from Rotax in Austria. Once completed, it's released from the room, and truly a Ski-Doo has been born. passing run-up and ready to be crated and shipped off from the factory to your local Skidoo dealership all over the world. Now, you may not know this, but the race shop is actually attached right directly to the production building, which is a pretty cool thing because that means that race shop staff can actually access all the parts that they need inside of the factory, but then also have access to the advanced manufacturing for those times when they need to make something that's a little bit custom. All racing applications for Skidoo and Can-Am are housed inside this shop. There's a lot of history in this building, and we were able to take a look at some of the lightweight project sleds that have been built, as well as some of the cross-country and snowcross sleds that were in the shop being worked on. When it comes to racing, Skidoo and Can-Am are dedicated to propelling the sport further ahead and building some pretty wild one-off, hand-built racing platforms. However, at the heart of it all, it's the desire to move consumer products forwards and the trickle-down of that race shop breakthroughs to consumers that's been felt at BRP for as long as I can remember. Being able to get behind the scenes and just take in a place like this is something special. Knowing the greatest of the sport pass through this shop, yeah, that's pretty humbling. Continuing my All Access Pass, we were able to get inside of the Laurent Baudouin Design and Innovation Center. Now, this is truly where all things Skidoo, design and innovation, and actually all things BRP are first created. From the teams who sketch and plan the coloration you'll see on your Skidoo snowmobile, to the masters of clay who are carving the future of our sport right in front of our eyes, to integrating virtual augmented spaces so you can interact with a future product without actually having to build it, this place is truly otherworldly. I was given the opportunity to not just see the virtual system, but actually experience it firsthand. Something truly incredible, as I could see and my mind told me that it was real, but not actually there. I understand how this can give designers such a view into the future and the ability to interact with products before big dollars are spent on building real prototypes. Likewise, the clay masters who carve and cut, put to life projects once they do come closer to reality, and the way that they can shape something from a paper rendering into reality is truly special to experience. They let me try my hand at it, and let's just say there's no future in clay for me, but a great deal of respect I certainly have for the process. Knowing that all BRP product designs are birthed from this place is very special. Seeing the layouts of colors on the tables, understanding how they sketch new designs, and then transfer this to a computer and build 3D models that can be interacted with and changed and taken apart right on screen, it's amazing to see come to life. Your Skidoo snowmobile isn't built without years of dedication, thought, trial, testing, and intense preparation. This team of designers are award-winning, industry-changing men and women who are shaping the sport of snowmobiling beyond our comprehension. Now, you might be wondering about my mention of the R&D area, and yes, I did receive a golden ticket to go into this very limited access spot, but no, we weren't allowed to take cameras. Rest assured, the capabilities, the technology, and the things they're working on in this area, they're definitely impressive. Willy Wonka would be envious. Now, to end off my trip to Valcourt, we were able to get into the Armand Bombardier Museum. And if you're ever in this area, you need to stop in here to see the history of the sport, but also the history of the company and the man behind that company. The innovation and designs that Armand came up with and the manufacturing hurdles he had to overcome were incredible, shaping industries and even designing the cogwheel that is still used today in modern tank designs. Everything from the snowmobile to tracked vehicles to their time in the rail and aviation industry, the museum is a fantastic way for you to see where BRP came from and help you to understand where they might go. A highlight of the tour is always access into the reserve area, stacked with old sleds, concept models, and history that drips with nostalgia and memories. While we're still waiting to see what Skidoo has up their sleeves for the future of snowmobiling, one thing we can be sure of is that they are dedicated to this sport that we love. And when we get to see the significant investment in technology that Skidoo doesn't just put behind the products that they build, but the way that they build them, well, that is something that's truly inspiring. You know, over the years, we have tested a lot of two-up seats here at SnowTraxtv. Some of them are universal and don't really do the job all that well. Some of them are brand specific and don't give you too many choices. But today, I'm gonna show you some that give you lots of choices and work on both Skidoo and Polaris sleds, doing the job extremely well. SeatJack is a Kimpex brand two-up seat line that features two styles of seats both the upgraded DX with the high backrest for comfort, as well as heated hand grips and even wind guards for staying extra warm on those long rides, as well as the LT option, which removes all the bells and whistles and gives you a very simple yet functional 2-up seat that'll get the job done and save you a lot of money in doing so. No matter which seat you choose, swapping to another brand, should you buy a different sled, only requires buying the brand-specific mount. So you buy the SeatJack once and can take it along with you. Now you might be thinking, I've seen SeatJack before. You're absolutely right, and I've tested a whole lot of them, but these new DX and LT models have been seriously overhauled. The DX in particular has been redesigned and improved in many ways, not the least of which is the reduction in total weight by 50%. Yes, they cut the weight in half, and with today's lightweight sleds, that's a pretty big deal, because you don't want to haul around more weight than you need to. On top of the big weight drop, the SeatJack is a low-profile compact design that still allows for serious passenger comfort and a style that doesn't stand out. And by that, I mean the SeatJack is a nice-looking 2-up seat. It's not clunky, it's not large, and it's not visually distracting. And with today's really pretty-looking, really sleek and lean 2-stroke and 4-stroke sleds, nobody wants a chunky 2-up seat. With my Polaris mount installed on my SeatJack, the only thing that I have to install on the Polaris sled itself are these little 4 aluminum button tabs. That's all we need to make a SeatJack work, and it's the only thing left on my VR1 when I take it off. So Dad can stay cool for 1-up riding, and the days I've got the kids with me, I just drop the SeatJack onto the 4 tabs and voila, I'm riding 2-up. It's so simple, it's incredibly hidden. 12-volt power is supplied with an underseat harness for the DX to supply 2 heat settings on the hand warmers as well as a 12-volt plug-in shield input. Kimpex truly did think of everything. So maybe you don't need something quite as big as the DX, but you still want 2-up potential. Maybe you're minimalist in need or you're work-focused. Let's take a look at the LT. Utilizing the same brand-specific mounts, one for Polaris and a second for BRP and Lynx, the LT version bolts onto your specific mount and then secures to the tunnel the same way the DX version does. Simple and low profile. Now the LT seat is very different in function with an ergonomic low-rise backrest and basic but safe passenger handles. It's a great option for the sled that is at the cottage or the second sled that you just don't have a huge 2-up seat demand for, but you want to be ready for the few times that you do need it. Sure, there's less features, but it's also quite a bit cheaper than the DX as well, making it a great option for those who want the capability but don't want all the extras. Now, it might also be the perfect fit for backcountry riders or utility sled folks, as the smaller design of the LT means you get more access and open rear cargo space for maximizing tunnel attachment points, and this may be something to consider when making the purchase. The LT is also lighter than the DX version, so it's very easy for anyone to install or remove, and takes up a bit less space in the garage or trailer when you're not using it. There comes a time in every sledder's life where 2-up capabilities are a requirement. Maybe it's the significant other, maybe it's the kiddos. I don't know, but for me, I love having a SeatJack equipped sled because it means that no matter what I'm doing, I always have the option of taking somebody extra along. And when it comes to snowmobiling, nobody finds out just how much fun it is until we take them out for a ride. Pretty much anywhere north of the border uses some kind of ice melter to deal with their winter climate. Freezing rain, sleet, or hard-packed snow, you name it, it causes all kinds of traction problems. We've discovered a product that does it all. It's called JetBlue, manufactured by a company called Tillsonbrands. It consists of a coating that's a blend of polyols, organic salts, and bioadditives coating non-organic chloride pellets. It tackles ice fast, and when it's laid down, it actually gets started melting faster in temperatures as low as -32 Celsius. Because of its super melting properties, you use much less of it. And when you use it properly, you're not going to damage the surfaces that you're spreading it on. Good news? You bet it is. During the winter months, we're trailering all over the country and we can never predict the kind of weather that we're going to experience. Think about trying to load a snowmobile or ATV onto a sled deck in the middle of an ice or snowstorm. It can be a total nightmare. It always seems like you're losing traction at just the critical second when you need to get good bite to get you up the ramp and onto the truck. It's all about momentum. But what if you can't get enough momentum or are trying carefully to regulate your speed so that you don't fire your sled through the back window of your truck? Maybe you were already going too slow and then just ended up sitting there with the track spinning. These are real problems off-road riders face when loading sleds and ATVs in the winter. The makers of JetBlue Ice Melter really get it because they're off-roaders too. And the solution is pretty simple. All we do is go into the back seat of the truck, grab our 5-kilogram JetBlue shaker, and sprinkle a patch about 8 to 10 feet behind the ramp. We usually do this before we leave on our ride, so it gives JetBlue plenty of time to work on the ice, depending on our outdoor temperature, and then when we come back from our ride, the unloading is much clearer of ice and packed snow. Sometimes when you leave on your ride, even though the pavement was fairly dry when you're parked, if it's snowing when you leave or the snow comes while you're away, it's a great idea just to sprinkle a little bit of JetBlue behind your loading ramp. Then when you get back, you can just shovel off the area and the ice or snow won't be stuck to the surface. JetBlue Ice Melter works so fast you can even sprinkle it again a few minutes before you load up, and it'll really make a big difference in grip. Now where you've parked your truck, you can always grab your 5-kilogram shaker and put a little JetBlue down in front of your tires. It really helps out after you've loaded up your truck and trailer and are looking to get back on the road. It makes sense to buy both the 5-kilogram shaker, it only weighs 11 pounds, and a larger bag, say in the 10, 18, or 20-kilogram sizes. This way you can top up your shaker when it's empty and still have enough around the house for driveway and sidewalk duty all winter long. So here's what we've got. JetBlue melts at a lower temperature than rock salt. It begins acting much faster than salt because its coating dissolves quickly, letting JetBlue get activated fast. You don't need to use nearly as much of the product as you do salt. The 5-kilogram sprinkle container is lightweight and easy to store in your vehicle, and JetBlue won't make a mess of your property when the snow melts in the spring. It's also far less caustic than salt to the aluminum and steel on your truck and trailer. Not too shabby, right? This is a great product that every snowmobiler and off-roader should have in their truck or trailer this winter when hauling. It's not just giving you better grip, it's keeping you safer.
SnowTrax has been brought to you by MBRP Performance Exhaust. Make your sled stand out. Shock strap. Start strapped, stay strapped. Caliber, engineered for adventure. Dalton Industries, tunability, precision, innovation. Let yourself be inspired by the Laurentians in Quebec. And by FXR, brings you more.
The utility sled category is the fastest growing segment in the snowmobile industry at the moment, and we think it's because snowmobilers want to get a bit more use out of their sled in wintertime while still being able to go out and have fun on the trail and off. For model year 2026, the Polaris Titan lineup has expanded to include a base model Titan SP, featuring the Patriot 650 engine. The Titan Adventure is available with your choice of a Patriot 650 or ProStar S4, and the Titan Adventure Ultimate is available with the optional ProStar S4 and now the Patriot 850. Furthermore, the axis-based Titan gets shelved, and now all Titans are in the Matrix platform. We've had plenty of time with the Titan line over the past few years, starting with the axis-based Titan featuring the Liberty 800 Cleanfire engine, which set the bar pretty high as far as 20-inch wide utility sleds go. No doubt, seeing the Titan Adventure Ultimate offered with the Patriot 850 engine in model year 2026 got us more than a little bit excited. It has ample power to capably propel a sled of this size with both rider and passenger on board, and its smooth and even throttle modulation is perfect when navigating extreme conditions while towing gear or pulling firewood out of the forest. The removable lock and ride 2-up passenger seat features 2-speed heated grips and is super cushy and comfortable to keep your passenger happy. And it now comes standard with this absolutely cavernous Titan utility box that's removable so you can utilize your rear rack. With the box removed, the rear rack features integrated accessory mounts and can be loaded up with gear or wood or just about anything you need to haul. Oh, and yeah, the rear hitch comes standard with a monstrous 1,200-pound towing capacity for hauling stuff in or out of your camp or getting all your gear out to your ice hut. Yes, the 20-inch wide track does make for a wider stance while sitting in the driver's seat. But once you become accustomed to that extra width, you'll barely even notice it while you're driving. We elected to remove the passenger seat for this test ride and rediscovered that the Titan Adventure Ultimate is a more than capable single-passenger trail sled too. Straight line handling is predictable, but these lower quality IFP shocks under-deliver in the corners, resulting in the presence of inside ski lift. That said, its Trailbreaker skis navigate capably off-trail, and the new high-clearance IFS featuring arched and reinforced lower control arms provides extra clearance when you're navigating in deep snow. And the ski stance is adjustable from 39 to 41 inches, allowing for more agility and playfulness when you're off-trail. Plus, its Backtrack 20 rear suspension featuring Fox's QS3 RTS shock is excellent and a standout in this category. Its articulating rear suspension feels more like a 146 than a 155 and delivers class-leading rear suspension compliance. The ultra-slick shifting chain case transmission featuring high-low neutral and reverse gets this sled up on top of the deep stuff with a gentle burst of the throttle. Plus, the dual-density snow flap remains flexible, resisting damage in the event it gets stuck up under the skid. And if you find yourself using reverse more than usual, you can easily remove the snow flap with zero tools and just store it until you need it again. And when the job goes past sundown, the Titan features an integrated rear LED work light so you can get your hitch mounted up or see what you're doing out back. We all agree we'd like to see a heated seat option, which is absent on this Titan. But the inclusion of the incomparable 7S Ride Command display is a premium feature, providing trail maps and customizable screens, as well as temperature-adjustable smart grips to keep your little fingies as warm as you'll be behind this absolute skyscraper of a windshield. With a long list of premium features and abilities that elevate it beyond your average trail sled, this latest generation Titan Adventure 850 and the Matrix Wide Track platform is hands down the most advanced wide track snowmobile we've seen from Polaris to date. The 2026 Titan Adventure Ultimate 155 offers deep snow capabilities, utility functionality, and trail riding confidence. If all of these items are on your checklist, then this Titan deserves a closer look.
Make sure to subscribe and comment below for real interaction with the SnowTrax crew.